Hi friends! Today we're talking about how to pre-sprout, plant, grow, and overwinter tuberous begonias. There are several different types of begonias. Wax begonias and angel wing begonias are common bedding plants which grow from a clump of roots. Rex begonias have stunning ornamental foliage and grow from fleshy, creeping roots. Begonia grandis is a hardy perennial that's often grown with hostas and astilbes. And lastly, we have the focus of today's video, tuberous begonias, which are grown from round or oval tubers and have beautiful succulent foliage and stunning flowers. Depending on the cultivar, they can have an upright or cascading growth habit, and the flowers may be large rose-like blooms or dainty dangling blossoms in a wide range of colors. A begonia tuber is shaped like a small brown bowl. The sprouts come from inside the bowl and roots are formed from the base and the sides of the tuber. Now you can plant these tubers directly in the garden after the last frost and once nights are consistently above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or you can pre-sprout the tubers inside to ensure that you have bigger plants and more flowers. Since it takes a tuber approximately 3 months to put out lots of flowers and blooms, it's a good idea to start pre-sprouting the begonia tubers 8 weeks before the last frost. This will ensure that you have big, beautiful plants to enjoy all season and early flowering. To pre-sprout the tubers inside, fill 4-inch pots with 2 to 3 inches of pre-moistened potting soil. Place the tuber in the container with the concave, hollow side facing up. Cover the tubers with 1 inch of pre-moistened potting soil and water sparingly. Then place the pots on a heat mat and under grow lights or in a sunny and warm location in your home. As time passes, the tubers will push out multiple leaves and then they can be transplanted out into the garden once all danger of frost has passed and the nights are consistently above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Tuberous begonias should be planted approximately 5 to 6 inches apart in an area that receives filtered light. Even though tuberous begonias are tropical plants, their foliage and flowers can be damaged by too much sun. So I like to plant mine under the canopy of fruit trees or in a planter on my front porch that receives 4 hours of morning sun and full afternoon shade. Begonias need to be watered consistently, but between waterings it's best to let the top inch or 2 of soil get dry to the touch. Check your begonias often during hot, dry weather. If the plants start drooping flowers or wilting, it means the soil is either too wet or too dry. Focus your watering so the foliage stays as dry as possible, or can dry quickly after watering. Now it's normal for tuberous begonias to produce a mix of single and double flowers. The single flowers are female and the double flowers are male. After the flowers fade, snip them off to keep the plants looking tidy. Tuberous begonias are sensitive to cold and will not survive freezing temperatures. In zones 3 through 7, they're usually treated as annuals. However, the tubers can be dug and stored over the winter and replanted the next spring. If you want to save your begonia tubers, stop watering the plants a few weeks before the first expected frost and let the begonia plants die back naturally. Then dig up the tubers and allow them to dry in a frost-free location for a few days. Remove any plant material, wrap them in newspaper, and store them in individual paper bags in a dark, frost-free place that's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I store mine in our unheated basement over the winter season and then pre-sprout them again the following spring. In zones 8 through 11, begonia tubers may be left in the ground outdoors, but it's important to keep them from getting too wet during the winter. So if you live in a climate with wet winters, you may want to store the tubers inside. Well, I sure hope this video was helpful and that you'll plant some tuberous begonias this growing season. Bye!